let me just use this related to this text. Whatever the filter data we are getting, we are showing here. So let me just completely paste this, copy this and paste this. You can see this data, and when you will remove one by one, you can see the changes, right? Two, and then few more. When you will completely remove this, you can see the unfiltered list once again. Hey guys, welcome back again in MU Sigma classes. In this lecture, we are going to discuss how we can search using search bar filter in React.js. And in the next video, we will be discussing the same thing in React Native. So if you are interested how we can do in React Native, you can watch the next video. Without wasting further any time, let's implement this in React.js. So here, as you can see, we are on this code sandbox. Here, let me just do some changes. Let's say MU Sigma classes. Okay, when you will save the file, you can directly see the response. Okay, cool. So moving ahead, but before that, let me just clear you first. We will be calling some API, and through that API we will get response. Okay, and that response will be storing inside the component state. That component state we are going to use for filter, and we will be search in the search bar box, and then we will be searching some keyword. Through that keywords we will be filtering some data and will be showing into the UI. But that logic will be implemented later, but for now we have to call some API to fetch the response. So we have this API. This is the get type of API we'll be calling here, so that you can understand it better. Otherwise, I can also do one thing. I can just copy paste into the file over here, into the JSON file or into the JS file. We can use that data here, but I want to call some API so that it will be look more realistic. So I'm going to use some fetch function, but we can call the API inside the use effect react from react, and then comma, we have to import this use effect. Will help us whenever we are coming to the component, it will call the function for us. So for now we have to call some function. Let's say fetch data. Okay, this is the function. Let's say this is an arrow function. Okay, let me just call console.log, or let me use some alert. Hey, this is alert. Okay, and this function I'm going to call inside the use effect function. We have to use const. Now this is fine. The moment when I will do some changes over here, it will automatically save my file and re-render my code as well. So hey, this is alert new item. Okay, cool. So now let me call some APIs using fetch, and here we have this get type of API. So in fetch, this is the API which we have to call. Then if this is gonna resolve, it will give us some response JSON. Okay, dot then response JSON, and this will be a callback function. So I want to store this response JSON in state. I'm going to create some state using use state hook. So let's say we'll be having some filter data, set filter data, and also we have to handle original data too. So original filter data and set original filter data, and here it should be with small o. So I'm going to store this JSON response JSON into my original filter data as well. We have to store inside this filter data too, JSON. So now I have my API response in inside this state, and if you want to see that, let me use some console.log JSON. And if the API will fail, we have to also handle that part dot catch, and again error callback console.log error, let's say error. Okay, cool. Okay, here we have console. Okay, so now you can see we have array. Inside of array we have 0th number of item. Here we have object, and inside the object we are getting user id, title, body, right? To show the item, meaning that list, we are gonna use this title only. So no worries, we'll be using that in later point of time. So now we have the original data inside this filter data and original filter data too. Let me just make a bigger one for you. So now you can see proper code here. Okay, so before writing filter logic, let me just make some UI for you. Let's say scribe MUO Sigma classes, and after this input, if you will write some text over here, what we have to do, we have to filter a list. But where is the list? I have to show the list too. So let me show you the list. So we have the data here in set filter data. Okay, filter data. So filter data dot map will have item comma index. So here we'll have div with closing div too, and here we will have item dot, let's say I'm gonna use title. So title. So what is the problem? Filter data dot map is the problem, right? So cannot read the property of undefined. So now this is better. So filter data and set filter data. Okay, so we should provide some initial values like empty array. Okay, so whenever the your component is rendering, that time use effect will call, and when use effect will call, it will call fetch data, and that fetch data will basically call the API with the help of fetch function, and that will give you response. Okay, you're getting the response, and when you get the response, you are storing the data inside the states using set original filter data and using this set filter data to store inside this variable filter data and original filter data. Okay, so filter data dot map, everything seems fine. Okay, so everything seems fine, and when you see here this div, right here, you can see we have to return the UI2 now. Okay, you can see the data now, you can see the list, right? Cool. See, this is the list. I want to give some styles over here. Margin top 20 pixel. Okay, cool. So you can see these detail, and what else we are getting? User ID 1. So ID is also we are getting like ID 1 2 3 4. Let me use this ID item dot ID. Let me give some space, this like this. This is looks fine for now, so I don't want to spend more time into the UI. So let me just quickly understand this. When we will write something, how we can filter the list. Okay, so in input, when we are writing something, on change capture will trigger. Okay, and it will give us the data which we are writing inside it. Okay, so let me console for you. E dot target dot value. Okay, console. So when you will write something, you can see this detail, right? So this target dot value I'm gonna store inside this state. Okay, so set search and e dot target dot value, and we have to make some state also, search. Okay, and this set search, this is not an array, so let me just make it empty string. Okay, this search we will use. So now we have the keyword which we are searching. So using this keyword we will be filtering the data. Then how we can filter the data? So whenever you are changing anything here, you are storing into the state also, right? And also you need this updated list over here. So one is, whenever you're changing anything, you can use some use effect or use callback. This is the first way, but instead of calling this use effect use callback, we can call some direct function over here. So let me call some function, let's say filter function. Okay, and here we can pass them e dot target dot value. Okay, we can create this filter function over here, and here we have value, and here we can make some logic for filter. So first we will check if the value is not basically empty or undefined. This is not undefined or it's not blank. In that case we will be using that original filter data and we'll filter it. Dot filter, this is the function, and we have some callback function in it. So this filter will basically give us item. We'll use some const item data is equals to item dot title. If title is there, then it will return item dot title dot to uppercase, or you can use also lowercase, but one case you have to use anyone. Okay, else empty string dot to uppercase again. And when we are performing on this original filter data, basically in here we will be returning something, right? So you will get some data here that you can call it new data. Okay, and in here we have item data. Now we have to check this value inside this item data. So if you're using upper cases, then you have to use this uppercase here with this value too. So let's say text data is equals to value dot to uppercase again, but if you're following two lowercase, then you have to use here two lowercase. Now we have to check it and also return something here. So item data, we have this, so we'll be checking here dot index of, and we have to pass this text data and greater than -1. Okay, cool. So we have new data now. This is the new data. Let me just console for you first. Console.log new data. So let me just check the console. So you can see now when we are writing SUNT, it is returning us this 7 length of array which may contain this SUNT in title. So if I'll use some AUTFACERE, similarly this, right? So let's say if I'm copying this exactly, paste it over here like this, everything we are getting right. Okay, so let's say if I'll copy this and paste it over here, so now you can see we are getting only one item in array. Okay, and which is nothing but this one only, this first one only. If we'll copy this and paste over this, so you'll see again one with this item. Okay, so let me just store this into the state 2. So we have this state, we are using this one, right, for UI population. So let me just use this, store inside this one new data. Also text, right, which you're writing over here, right, you have to update it here. So set search this value, and in else, if this is not the case, right, if you are removing everything, it should also return us the complete list, meaning that the complete list, the unfiltered list. Okay, let me quickly show you. If I'm writing this one, I'm getting this only one data, but if I'll remove everything, I'm not getting my old unfiltered list of item here, not getting that, right? So because of this else, so we have to again set search this value, and also we have original filter data that we're not mutating, so we have to pass inside this set filter data, we have to pass this original one. See, so when you are writing something, you're not getting the data, meaning that it is not giving you any of error here, it is showing you blank. But let's say if you are copying this exactly, pasting it over here, so you can see this third item we are getting here in the selected filtered item. But when you remove everything, you are getting the original data, meaning that it is going back and it is showing you everything which is unfiltered. So filter and unfilter, everything is working, seems fine. It is working fine here, right? Let me just use this. Okay, so you can see, right? Related to this text, whatever the filter data we are getting, we are showing here. So let me just completely paste this, copy this and paste this. You can see this data, and when you will remove one by one, you can see the changes, right? Two and then few more. When you will completely remove this, you can see the unfiltered list once again. Okay, so this is it, guys. If you like this video, please like and share and subscribe to the channel. And also in the next video, we'll be discussing the same thing in React Native, how we can implement that, how we can implement the same thing in React Native. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the video. And if you're not following my React.js playlist, so please follow that also.